Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. It is a War Game Wednesday, so today I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Banish All Their Fears from our friends over at GMT Games. This is the first entry in the new Bayonet and Muskets series and is designed by David Fox and Ben Hall. The game is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 3 hours or more, and does carry an MSRP of $65. All that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Banish All Their Fears. Before we dive on in, do want to mention that my friends over at GMT Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. All right, let's get the shrink wrap off here, and then we will take a look at the back. So I do understand that this contains 2 battles. Banish All Their Fears covers 2 crucial battles of the late 1600s and early 1700s in Europe, when warfare entered a new era of larger armies and the primacy of firepower. The game system highlights the peculiarities of warfare in that period and the impact of the limitations of command and control. This game is an evolution of the musket and pike battle series for the changes in tactics and organization of armies of that period. It's going to explain the 2 battles, Neerwinden and Blenheim. Banish All Their Fears is the first game in the Bayonets and Muskets series, which will cover the period of the War of the League of Augsburg, 1688 to 1697, and the War of the Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714. In Western Europe, the figure of the great king of France, Louis XIV, the Sun King, dominated the scene, leading a newly united and energetic France to expand and secure its frontiers. His opponents, the ancient power, the Holy Roman Empire, the financial and military might of the Dutch United Provinces, and Britain, the Indomitable. The field of war was set. All right, so let's jump on in. Now, this box has some heft to it, but I am going to take a guess that the maps are going to be paper maps. Right, so bunch of baggies here. Got a couple of 10-sided dice. Interestingly enough, they are gray. Haven't seen that color 10-sided dice in a GMT Games box before. We've got our rules of play, our playbook. Then it looks like we've got some tracks or possibly some army organization charts and things like that. So we will get into those in just a few moments. But first, let's take a peek at the rule book. And I will say that this is not a very thick rule book, maybe 18, 20 pages. So we've got our introduction. Oh, so we've got 24 pages in total. So we're going to see our various different playing pieces. So it looks as if we have an overhead shot of the formations. That's kind of cool. I like that. Talking about brigades, leaders, various different markers. Our sequence of play is going to be the artillery phase, wing activation phase, brigade activation phase. And then we get some examples of brigade activations. So during those activations, combat must be taking place. We have redded unit marker movement phase, victory determination phase, and then we have a cleanup and reset. So this is our command display. So that's what that first item was. So we get some examples here of the rules. Committing brigades. Leaders facing. I am skipping through pages here. just to kind of give you an idea of the rules layout. So as far as combat, we've got linear warfare, infantry combat, our initial volley, infantry versus infantry attacks, firefights, cavalry combat, cavalry versus infantry, infantry versus cavalry, morale. And we've got a discussion of that routed unit movement, and then our terrain effects and our index. So that is what we've got there. Then we've got the playbook. And I got to say, the playbook feels like it's probably clocking in around 60 pages or so, which is cool. It'll give us loads of information. In fact, looks like we've got 68 pages here. So it looks as if we're going to get an introduction to the history behind this era. And then we're going to get into our first battle, Neerwinden. Our order of battle. I wonder if we'll see an extended example of play. So here's our French order of battle. That's kind of cool. We get some notes about the various different brigades. That's cool. So that's why we see this order of battle is fairly long. Then we have our Battle of Blenheim. Here's the Allies. And we start getting into their order of battle. And then the French. And we get some historical notes. Designer notes. What changed from the musket and pike era? The armies of the 30 Years' War were raised for war. The length of the war, coupled with the growing centralized power necessary to sustain armies in the field, gave rise to national standing armies, which allowed for standardized training and equipment. The armies also grew much larger. When France entered the 30 Years' War, it struggled with building armies on 4 fronts: Flanders, Germany, Italy, and Spain. But by the War of Spanish Succession, they had over 300,000 men under arms in multiple field armies and numerous garrisons. Here's our example of play. Nice. So it appears that we also will have maybe a combat map where we're going to be laying out the forces that are perhaps being used in that particular activation, maybe? Interesting. Right, so then we get our counters, and here are the maps. There's our sequence of play. So let's see what we've got here. So this is the command mat. I'll assume it's dual-sided because of the 2 battles. So here we have the front, support, and reserves. So this is that mat I was kind of talking about where it looks like we'll take units off of the board and put them onto this. And then, of course, here's the other battle. So we've got that. Some player aids, it looks like. A couple of these, which have infantry and artillery combat tables, cavalry combat tables. We also have command and movement tables. So each player is looking like they're going to get a couple of player aids. So you got our terrain effects, and then leaders, charges, marching, dress ranks. It's like our turn tracker. So we're going to track hours and minutes. That's pretty cool. And then we've got quite a few punch boards of counters. So it looks like these might be informational in nature as you take a peek here. And these are dual-sided. Oops. And I've got it upside down, so let's turn that around. Be far easier to make out. So that is the first. Now we're going to actually see some of the units. And as I said, it seems like it's an aerial view of those units. It's kind of cool. So with the blue, I would say that's no doubt the French. Looks like there's a little flag on there or a little symbol on there, but it's way too small for my eyes to make out from this distance, that's for sure. Okay. We've got the English and the Allies. We've got the other allies there. Looks like we've got 6 of the counter sheets. So as you can see, there are a lot of units. But of course, that is one of the aspects of this era is the army sizes increased. There we go. Very nice. Last thing we're going to take a peek at are the maps. And this is paper. It is dual-sided because we're going to have one battle on one side and we'll have the other battle on the other side. But this is treated. So this is not just paper. So this is Blenheim, because obviously enough, there it is. So we know that's what this battle is. Nice looking map there. And this is Neerwinden. So there's Neerwinden, Rumsdorp. There we go. There's Neerwinden. And these are 4 panels in width, 2 panels in height. All right, so we've got the map. We've got the 6 counter sheets. We have the track as well as our player aids, our command mat, the playbook, the rules of play, as well as our baggies and our 2 10-sided dice. And that is what we find from Banish All Their Fears when we take everything outside the box. Very nice. This looks very interesting. I'll be very honest. I do not know if this is going to get to the game table. I have been having a very hard time getting practically any board game to the table simply because the gang's schedules are just so screwed up at the moment. But hopefully, I will get a chance to check this out. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell because it'll not only let you know when I share first looks, such as today's video, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.